Hello, 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 everyone. We are back with another exciting episode of a Notch Higher Living YouTube channel where spaces are created and cultivated, so environments are cultivated so that healthy relationship skills can be learned, developed, practiced so that they can ultimately thrive. And I have another amazing guest. I keep saying that because they are amazing guests. And today we have Barb. I just don't even want to say anything else, but this is Barb. Barb, how are you?
I am awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. I want to first start off before we get into anything because you are my very first ever in the entire world to be on this platform. And please tell people where you are from. I want you to give the exciting news.
I'm going to do something very African because
Okay.
it's your first African experience. We ululate. So actually, our ululations differ from country to country. So this is our Ndebele ululation. Now that we have gotten that out of the way,
Awesome. So from
hello
a
everyone.
different continent altogether, you are Barb, the emotional
Yes,
alchemist. Oh my
yes.
gosh. I
So I'm in Africa and narrowing it down to my country. I'm in Zimbabwe and it's
okay.
4 a.m. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. So
I
I
know.
met Barbara through a beautiful young lady called
Mm.
Natalie. Natalie?
Nantale Muwonge.
Natalie, the black, yes, the black girl or black girl PR. So
Mm,
black PR, it's an amazing platform. So I was introduced
absolutely.
to Barb through Natalie. Thank you very much, sister.
Oh,
And I met
yes.
another sister.
You know,
Yeah,
life is just so amazing. We were all meant to connect, and the connections, as we connect the dots, it's amazing how everything just falls into place and it feels so natural. Like we are meant to be here right now,
I agree.
today.
I agree.
Mm.
So I would like to start for those who do not know you and those who do not know what an emotional alchemist is. I would like you to share how did you come up with that name and why are you in the work? What is an emotional alchemist all about? Give us your background. We're wanting to know.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. So, the alchemy part, alchemy is magic, and magic cannot happen without some form of brokenness or transformation. And it's like a new life coming out of something, out of a mess. So for me, I am very passionate about emotional and mental wellness. It's
Mm-hmm.
my calling. I know it's a profession, but it's a spiritual thing for me. And that's what makes it even more exciting for me because I don't just focus on maybe the different theories and ways of therapy. I
Okay.
have a spiritual connection. I actually go on a spiritual journey with my clients,
Okay.
and I have this gift of I can tell some things. Sometimes I dream them. I get dreams like about my clients. Oh, this needs to be done. Then, so it takes a certain type of clientele to
Okay.
work with me because some people are not comfortable with their spirituality. They are not in tune. And so, from all the work that I do clay therapy. I usually work with natural things because with clay or
Okay.
rocks, when we get in contact with natural things, natural items, they have a spiritual connection with us. And that helps me see things that actually need to be dealt with. So, because sometimes someone just comes, they are having anger issues or they
Yes.
are going through, they had some trauma or whatnot. So for me, because whatever kind of trauma you go through, it also breaks your spirit. So I connect from the spirit coming out. So the spirit, the body, the mind, and the emotions, and we create a beautiful mosaic.
Wow.
So
Wow.
for me to come up with the name Emotional Alchemist, I realized I do magic. That's what I do, and it's all emotionally connected, because once I heal the emotions, it's a holistic transformation.
Yes.
Everything about you is just flourishing afterwards.
That makes a lot of sense because the emotion and the spiritual is something that we can't see, but it definitely
Mm,
impacts us in everything. And a lot of times we don't
absolutely.
recognize that. So I love how you said that you focus on that because it's the part of us that while we can't see it, it really does impact us, like you're saying, all the time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yes, not acknowledging it doesn't mean that it goes away. It just
Mm.
shows out in different, a lot of times, unhealthy ways. So,
Yes, exactly.
I love that. So, one thing about your website is called Bold Dialogue. I want to read this because Bold Dialogue is an intuitive wellness platform. It facilitates healing, ignites hope, and brings the possibility of bold living that honors your passions and dreams. So your work is with women across Africa. I was like, are we really looking at a website from someone in a different continent? We are. And you equip them with support, mentorship, and the
Yes.
tools required to transcend trauma in order to truly transform or operate out of a place of excellence. So I
Mm.
was just like, this is amazing. So, what you're just saying and connecting it to it, this is what's going to bring me to my next question. Can you take us on a mini tour of what this wonderful healing journey looks like? You told us what and how you came up with emotional alchemy, that term, but what does
Mm.
that transcending, like you can take us through so people can get a visual or just hear something that we're not accustomed to being a part of?
So it's been a work in progress over many years
Hmm.
until I came to a realization that my specialty is two areas, but these two areas can make or break any person: generational trauma,
Okay.
inner child trauma. So, from those two, we deal with traumas that we have inherited from our parents that we don't even know we have, traumas that have been modeled to us. When someone is operating from a space of trauma, they have certain behaviors, certain beliefs, certain things, the mannerisms that they do.
Yes,
And we just inherit them, and we say these things run in our families.
that's exactly
But
it.
we can actually try to run away from these things. Why are they running in the family? Shouldn't we be talking generational wealth running in the family, generational healing running in the family, generational blessings running in the family?
Yes,
So it's that passion, that desire to reverse or actually undo all these generational traumas, all these inner childhood traumas, and create a new narrative. We want to be a continent, a world of healed people.
yes,
So the journey takes us through. I address things like transactional analysis, how we transact with ourselves, with other people, how we connect, how we communicate. We look at unearthing generational trauma through
mm,
hypnosis. We work through revisiting the past to see what needs to change. I help my clients understand what it is that they are going through and why they are experiencing those things, and help them make choices that now undo all the pain and learn and become who they have been conditioned to be, and they choose who they want to become.
mm.
And like I said earlier, it's a spiritual journey. We look at everything. I don't believe in just focusing on one aspect, but we look at everything, understand, help. I help, especially through play therapy, because some people find it difficult to express themselves. And sometimes we are not raised or equipped with enough vocabulary to express ourselves. We may understand anger, maybe confusion and
Yes.
happiness, but all the rest of the emotions in between, we are not aware of them. So through the play therapy, I help people uncover or unearth all these other emotions that they go through. And the important thing is to remember is that I remind my clients that they have the power to choose. So they have to be kind to themselves. They have to choose themselves every day. You know, it's a daily thing. You are unlearning a lifetime of toxic conditioning and all that. So it's going to take you a lifetime to become who you really want to be. So you choose yourself every day. You remind yourself to be kind to yourself. Ask yourself, whatever thought is going through your head, whatever you're about to do, am I being kind to myself? Because if I'm kind to myself, it's easy for me to be kind to you, you know? So am I doing this out of love? Whatever I'm doing, and also to remember that they are growing. Self affirmations, all these things, they are very important. So it's a journey. I love, there's this word I learned in Thailand. There's a dish called shabu shabu where they mix there's meat, there's vegetables, there's all kinds of things. It's all cooked in one pot.
Okay.
So it's a shabu shabu.
Shabu
So
shabu.
so my eclectic approach to therapy as well is a shabu shabu of
A shabu shabu.
intuition, spirituality, emotionality, mentality, physicality, everything.
You just explained a journey that I don't think people realize that's so necessary because you
Oh.
said something. The generational trauma, it took a lifetime oftentimes for it to have worked out and played out and lived out in our lives. And then
Mm,
it takes that same effort and intentionality
yes.
to reverse and undo what
Mm,
was done. And one thing that you said the vocabulary a lot of times we do not have, and you give people the awareness, is what I'm hearing you say, the power to choose. Because if you think
yes.
that what's happened to you is the only thing and your only option, you need the vocabulary to be able to undo so that you can know that you have the power to choose. And I really appreciate how you articulated all of that because we are such complex in a way that's a healthy way. We're just not one-sided. We're spirit, soul, and body. So the way that
Yes.
you are focused on your clientele, your sisters, your tribe, you're looking at them
Mm,
holistically. You're not looking at just the surface level because a lot of what we
absolutely.
experience is under that iceberg. That's where the rumblings
Yeah, oh,
are.
absolutely. And I love that you are mentioning the iceberg. We have a saying in it's actually in Southern Africa because there's the Ndebeles in Zimbabwe, there are the Zulus in South Africa. We are kind of cousins,
Okay.
related kind of. So there's this saying that says, "Watinta umfazi, watinta imbokodo." So umfazi is a woman.
Okay.
To tinta is if you touch a woman, you've touched a rock. And for me, I feel like it's cultural and it's toxic and patriarchal to say a woman is a rock. I'm supposed to feel things. I'm supposed to feel free to express myself as a woman, you know? So if it's a rock, it's an iceberg, you are just seeing a mountain there.
Yes.
It means I can't feel. So we want to break that narrative, to change, to to break that mbogodo from being a rock. Allow me to be marshmallow, to be soft, to feel what I feel. And it doesn't mean that I'm less of a woman, I'm less of a professional or anything. Allow me to be, you know? And
Yes.
the sad thing is that such toxicity is not only directed at women. We also have a saying that inyembezi zendoda ziphelela esifubeni. The tears of a man are only on the inside. They could flow inside into his chest. And we are raising toxic males who do not feel, who do not understand what they are going through. The only time that they seem to express themselves to feel some type of way is when it's soccer season because they are so passionate about soccer. That's when you see the animation on males,
Yes.
but they don't know that these are real things that they are feeling. It's not just about soccer, but that's the safest place where they can feel and cry and be whatever they want to be without judgment.
Wow, wow. That's so powerful, Barb, because there's a therapist in the States. His name is Barnett. And I heard him on an Instagram post. He has this tour, Heal Bro Heal. And he's going all across the country speaking to men. And he's saying men don't have what you just said with women, a vocabulary to know how to express their emotions because they were often taught not to feel. So when you said that, it's just
Exactly.
like, it's so true. When you're taught to suppress everything, and he's a black man too, so it's even
Mm.
doubly oppressive for
Oh,
not
yeah.
having the language or voice or space to be able to express that, which the way that you just explained that, it's so uncanny how your bold initiative and your bold dialogue, the way that I created this YouTube channel, again, it's for a created space. So environments can be cultivated for healthy relationship skills to be learned,
Mm.
develop, practice so that they can thrive. Because, like you said so perfectly, that a journey. It's something that has to be unfolded. So while women are going on their journey for their healing or their undoing, what do you give to the women to continue to love and to care for themselves? Like you said, it's not something that happens overnight. What would you say for people who say, well, I'm past that, or they don't feel that this is something that really pertains to them, even men? I mean, I know you focus
Oh,
on
yeah.
women, but what you just mentioned, when a woman is healed, then a family is healed. She's impacting
Yes.
other people. If she has a man in
Mhm.
her life, or whether it's romantic, a father, a brother, a uncle, a cousin, another
Mm.
male will be impacted. Another female will be impacted. So, what does that
Absolutely.
journey speak to that journey on the on healing or the ongoing healing portion?
So the I would love to have families embark on this holistic transformation journey with me, because that way, when one is healing, when you heal, it means the other person who's not on the healing journey with you is experiencing loss and change.
Yes.
Change because you're not the same person that they are used to. Loss because they've lost, maybe if you were in a toxic relationship, their toxic partner. So I actually have one amazing couple that signed up for the holistic transformation
Okay.
because they wanted to heal from their individual traumas, and also it will work on their relationship so that their relationship is better and it grows. So that's one thing that I would love to have more people do that. But it is what it is. We work with who we have. And I also try to help them understand those who are not on the journey with them so that they are patient with them. And the more you are showing all these new traits, new ways of thinking, new ways of feeling, new ways of being, it actually encourages the others to be interested in what you're doing. So we work on that. We work with what we have and
Okay.
hope one day we'll have a movement of both men and women.
Okay.
Signing up, and we all heal holistically without one person carrying the burden for the entire family.
I love
So
that.
some of the support that I offer, I have a monthly magazine that helps like it goes to everyone. We are not gender sensitive or
Okay.
particular, so it goes to everyone. So it has some social or psychosocial things, the articles that help, even spiritual. We even have a pastor who writes, and we try to include everyone. It's very inclusive. It doesn't discriminate. We talk about social issues. It could be dating. It could be dealing with diseases. It could be dealing with death or whatever anyone is going through. So we have the monthly magazines called Ball Dialogue, obviously. And we also have two radio shows actually on Sky's Metro. There's a radio station here in Bulawayo
Okay.
called Sky's Metro. So I am in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, but Bulawayo, the second capital city. It's actually called the City of Kings and Queens. Thank you.
Look at that.
Yes, I know,
Honor.
right?
Yes.
So on Sky's, because of what I mentioned about males also being raised in a toxic space, we came to a realization that if we are just focusing on women, healing women, and they still live with toxic men who are, deep, deeply steeped in these
Yes.
cultural, patriarchal, toxic beliefs and behaviors, we are not doing any justice. So we have
Right.
a show called Men's Emotional and Mental Wellness.
Oh
We talk
wow.
about all things men, how it affects them. And it's interesting. Sometimes we have these guests who come and say they are because of how the women in their lives raised them. Basically they are mothers, and because they are mothers, it's not like if you have one mother it's only her who does certain things. Sometimes you discover there's a communal belief and whatnot, so even the wives they marry, they have the same toxic beliefs,
Yeah.
and they perpetuate this. They really perpetuate the toxicity. So it's been interesting. It's been quite an intriguing journey. But here's the interesting thing, because men don't talk about their feelings, it turns out the men's show actually has more listenership than the women. They don't interact with us while we are on air, but they tune in,
They're hearing.
which is very intriguing. They're just listening, but
Yes.
they will not take part. But the women's show, whereby we celebrate women and the things they are doing in the communities and everything, that one is very interactive. And we actually had a meeting with the station on Monday. No, yeah, on Monday. And they were saying the men's show is raking in so much listenership. And they're like, no, but they don't engage with us. They are listening. That's where the trick is. They
Keep
are
going.
listening.
You have to, yes, because
You know?
yes, when we listen to men, they need to be heard, but
Mm,
they need a safe place. So continue
absolutely.
on the journey, because when they know that's a safe place, the one thing I'm going to bring back Jay Barnett, because no women are allowed in the space, because they
Wow.
want to have a space where men can feel free to speak. Because of what you just said, men are accustomed to being the
Mm,
doers. So we want them to interact like we are as women, and they're men. So in
yes.
order for them to have that space, they need to be in a safe environment. So please keep doing the
Mm,
work, because
oh, thank
your work is confirmed in their listenership. If you weren't saying anything that wasn't resonating, they wouldn't be listening. So they
Mm,
know they can come consistently and listen to something. So it's only a matter of time. What is it? It's at an apex, or it's at that point where you keep putting it in, and then there's a, was it an apex or it's the breaking point? I'm not saying the correct word. You're going to get
mm.
to that point where the tipping point. That's what I'm trying to say. That tipping
Yes.
point where it's just like It's years and years, or whatever the time frame, or the hours or hours, the months and the months, and then something's going to connect. Even I'm going to keep saying Jay Barnett, because what you're doing in Africa, he started this year going across the states. And so that sound is out. And there's a prophetess, her name is Tiffany Montgomery, and she's been praying for marriages, kingdom marriages, but she's been praying for
Oh.
against the madmen. So meaning, like, there is, like, you're talking about the spiritual component, everything that we
Mm.
see on the surface isn't all there is. So if there is a breaking point that's happening in the men, it's because there's something, and there's a sound on the earth that's shifting something. So please keep doing your work, because you just confirmed that it's being heard. And that's the important part, right? It has to come through the
Yes.
senses, and
Mm.
men need to feel that they can be in a place where they can speak. And they're not going to speak first. We're going to speak first. But as
Yes.
women, we need to learn how to fall back and give them a place that's safe to speak, and not
Mm.
turn it or manipulate it or use it against them. And that, when you're talking about healing, it comes back to us, because when I'm a healed whole woman, I don't need to put a man in his place to make me feel better.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's a work in progress. So, one question that I have, your work is primarily in Africa. What can we do, or what can people do? Are you helping people? Are you helping women in the States or in different countries? Or is the work primarily in Africa right now?
Interestingly, thanks to COVID, I know I'm one positive girl. Whatever a situation comes my way, I find a positive thing about it.
Yes.
So, thanks to COVID, that's how the magazine actually was born, because we started experiencing a rise in domestic violence. People were being abused in the homes. And I was like, I can't just sit back. I'm going to start a newsletter. That
Okay.
was 2 weeks into the lockdown. And I was like, I'm done. I don't like all this negativity that is happening around me. I'm going to do something. I'm going to start a newsletter that gives tips on how to survive being in a confined space with everyone. And you have to make it work. And this is a time when, in my head, the lockdown was going to be like a month tops, and we're
Right.
out and everything.
Right.
And when something is coming from within, it's a calling. I was churning out the newsletter, 6 to 8 pages, 3 times a week.
Wow. Wow.
And I was like, no, I could put all this information into one thing. Let me do it once a week. No, twice a week. I started doing the newsletter twice a week. And I'm like, no, I keep having more things to talk about.
Okay.
Let me do it once a week, once a fortnight, every fortnight, until it became a monthly magazine. Imagine, just like that.
Wow.
And we are going strong. More contributors to the with articles, and the content is getting richer every time. It's been an amazing journey. So for me, during that time, because I have contacts almost everywhere on every continent, I would share the newsletter. So people started knowing about, reading about what I was writing about. I think we were only three contributors at first. There was myself,
Mhm.
Sox the poet, I work with him on radio as well.
Okay.
And my friend Brenda, she would put recipes because she felt people now have time to cook. So she loves cooking. She's amazing in the kitchen.
Yum.
So
Wow.
it was the three of us, and the bulk of the articles were just coming from me. And I was like, amazing. I didn't know I had all this. Well, I am an author, but still, it was like, wow, I have so much content.
Okay.
So people, after reading the articles, they started contacting me, wanting private sessions from all over the world. And because we were using Zoom
Zoom.
or WhatsApp or
Mhm.
FaceTime or WhatsApp video call. I
Okay.
started having sessions with people from all over the world, but most of them are in Africa.
Okay.
And interestingly, I never had anyone from the States. I've
Really?
had people from Europe, from Australia, Africa. Well, it's like home, it's a playground, everyone is there, but nobody from the States. So that's one thing that I want to do.
Wow. So I'm so honored to hear that because anyone that's watching this, if you're in the US of A and if you're in the States, we need to connect with Barbara, the emotional
Yes,
alchemist. And
with
um,
motherland.
yes, this is my first connection with you. So now you're connected to someone in the States. So we'll
I
have to
know,
see,
right?
yes, what this can become and blossom in
Mm,
the space of healthy emotional connection. We've had
absolutely.
enough trauma and we've had enough generational trauma and we've had enough of the negative. So now it's time to flip the table and it's time to flip
Mm,
the experience for it to be something that people can bloom and blossom and heal. And as we heal,
absolutely.
we can heal. And as we are healed, excuse me, we pass healing on. We have been
Oh,
hurt,
absolutely.
yes, long enough.
Generational healing.
Generational,
Imagine.
oh, let's write that. I think that is what generational healing. I love that. So, what would you like to? We're gonna turn this into our final question. Um, what would you like for people to know? Um, Again, people in the States, people all
Mm,
over um, Europe, Africa, any place where you're able to share this message, where I'm able to share this message. What would you like for them to know? And if you're speaking to the one person, you know how we kind of speak in generalities, but speak to that person who has experienced generational trauma and thought and think and have just absorbed that this is how it is.
mm.
We want to give them that space and that environment for them to know there's another way. So, can you speak to that person so that they can know that they have hope, even when it feels, and I can honestly say sometimes it is hopeless when you're in it. But give that person hope today in only the words that you can as the emotional alchemist, please.
You are not your circumstances or your situation. There is healing. You can recreate something beautiful, something amazing. And usually in our brokenness, that's where we find our purpose, the true essence of our being. And I can safely say this with authority because I have experienced all kinds of things. I've had cervical cancer, endometriosis, 14 surgical operations, a hysterectomy. I've survived abuse, a divorce. I live with an autoimmune disease, hence the fancy hairstyle, you know. And through all that, I have found who I really am because it was so for so many years and generations we've been taught not to show things to the world. We shouldn't air our dirty linen or laundry out there, and we have all these shells. We are like onions, you know, so many layers. But once you have been vulnerable, once you have allowed yourself to say, this is me, I have all this, all that, and you get all these experiences don't come with people understanding or empathizing with you. They come with judgment, they come with misunderstanding, they come with all kinds of abuse and insults because you are not human enough, or like in my case, you don't have children, you can't have children, so you can't be a woman, you're not human enough. A real woman, her essence is in her ability to procreate. But I can promise you, I procreate healing. I give newness. I bring transformation that sets you on a path that I mean, it's phenomenal. I've seen amazing things. I've watched my clients grow and blossom into amazing things, And so I want to say, be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself. Know your worth and know you are worthy of complete healing. You are worthy of regeneration, creating the best version of yourself. And it's a daily thing, We work every day, you have to work towards being better than yesterday. And sometimes, even if it just means waking up and bathing and just sitting there, it's enough. It's not about doing something very dramatic, that the whole world will be like, wow. Sometimes it's the small, actually, not sometimes, it's the small things that keep building up. Just like the generational trauma was a combination of small things building up. So you unbecome all that trauma. And as you are becoming, it's the small steps that count. And yes, sometimes we falter back and we take maybe 10 steps back, but that's being alive, that's being human. We still learn from those experiences. There is a teachable moment in every experience.
Yes.
So we are who we choose to be. We are not victims. We have that power in our hands to become whoever and whatever we desire. So healing is there for everyone. And embarking on this journey of self-love, self-care, of holistic transformation is one guaranteed way of actually experiencing that wholeness, that peace, without caring about, what if this happens? You're not living in fear. It becomes taxing to live in fear.
It does. It does. Wow. Thank you so much for taking the time, for getting up early to share with us today. And thank you for speaking to the persons who need to hear that. So I hope and I really pray that whoever is on the other side of this video who needed to hear exactly what you said, that you would hear it. I'm going to put Barbara's information, so as you've already heard her say, she can be connected from all over, because even though COVID was something that was devastating, we can see something that has come good out of it in different areas. So again, this space is created for a special connection. And I think Barb has set the tone to say that no matter what you've gone through, you still have a choice, that you can heal and you can choose to live. So until we meet next time from a Notch Higher Living YouTube channel, thank you so much, Barb, for coming on. I am looking forward to however we're going to be connected in the future. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate you. I will put Barb's information down in the description box. And until we see you next time, be whole, be healed, and remember, you are loved, you are worthy, and you are enough. Okay? Bye, everybody.